Today we are going to look at one important morphological change that is going to take place during cellular injury. And this is going to be steatosis. You can call it fatty change or possibly fatty liver. Why saying fatty liver? Most of the fat metabolism, almost 80% of it, takes place in the liver parenchyma cells. So what are we seeing in this change? We are going to have abnormal accumulation of neutral fat in the liver parenchyma cells, constituting what we are going to refer to as a fatty liver. So we are going to look at some of the etiologies or the causes of fatty liver. And these are going to be divided into two. One of them we are going to categorize them under conditions with excess fat. And secondly are going to be causes due to liver cell damage. So when I draw my table here, this side I'm going to have conditions due to excess fat. Conditions due to excess fat. And this side I'm going to have conditions due to liver cell damage. So those are the two divisions we are going to have here. And some of the conditions under excess fat, we are going to have diabetes mellitus, we are going to have obesity, we are going to have congenital hyperlipidemia. Then, on the other hand, of conditions due to liver cell damage, we are going to have alcoholic liver disease, we are going to have starvation, we are going to have hypoxia, we are going to have protein malnutrition, we are going to have Reyes syndrome, we are going to have chronic illnesses. So all of these are going to constitute to what we refer to as fatty liver or steatosis. How does diabetes mellitus lead to a fatty liver? What are we having in diabetes mellitus? Diabetes mellitus, we are having the cells not acting normally to the insulin, which is going in turn to lead to glucose accumulation. When the glucose accumulates, this excess glucose is going to be converted into fat, which is going to accumulate, leading to fatty liver. And the second way how this can affect is the glucose produced is going to favor the growth of these microbials, the bacteria. And these bacteria are going to produce toxins, which toxins are going to lead to cell injury. And once we have cell injury, we are going to have impaired metabolism of fats, leading to fatty accumulation. What are we having in obesity? In obesity, we are having excess fat. And this excess fat is going to trigger a chronic inflammatory response. Chronic inflammatory response, we are going to have inflammatory cells producing cytokines and reactive oxygen species, which are going to damage the cells, and we are going to have impaired metabolism of the fats, leading to accumulation. Congenital hyperlipidemia, here the babies are born with excess lipids within their blood. So when we go to this side, conditions due to liver cell damage, when we look at alcoholic liver, what is going to happen in alcoholic, when the person is taking alcohol as a chronic alcoholic, three things are going to occur. One of them, since we are going to use NADPH to break down this alcohol to acetaldehyde, we are going to have production of NADPH, which is going to act as a reducing equivalent to the de novo synthesis of fatty acids. So the more the person takes alcohol, the more we are going to have the de novo synthesis taking place and the excess fat being produced. Secondly, we are going to have low synthesis of lipoproteins. We look at starvation. Starvation, we are going to have increased lipolysis. It's breakdown of lipids to free fatty acids and glycerol, thus leading to a fatty liver. Hypoxia, here you have reduced supply of oxygen, When you have the resource supply of oxygen, you're going to impair two systems. One of them is the beta oxidation of the fatty acids, and secondary is the oxidative phosphorylation, leading to ATP depression, cell injury, and leading to fatty liver. Protein malnutrition. So when you have protein malnutrition, it means that you're having small proteins in the body, plasma proteins. And these plasma proteins, they act as scavenging molecules by binding to transition metals such as copper and iron, which tend to act as free radicals. When these proteins bind to those molecules, they make them less reactive. So when you have low protein, you're going to have accumulation of transition metals, which are going to act as free radical species, cell injury, and leading to accumulation of our fats. Secondary, immunoglobulins, a protein in nature. So when you don't have enough proteins, you're not going to have synthesis of enough immunoglobulins, which is going to impair your immunity. When immunity is impaired, what happens? We are going to have an inflammatory response, production of free oxygen species. Those are going to lead to cell injury and thus fat accumulation. Another thing is going to be you're not going to produce lipid acceptor proteins. We are going to see them in the mechanism of metabolism of fatty acids. So when you don't have lipid acceptor proteins, you're not going to form lipoproteins, which is supposed to excrete the excess triglycerides from the liver cells to the plasma. When you go to Ray's syndrome, in Ray's syndrome, you're having encephalopathy due to viral infections. So when this condition persists, we are going to have these viruses producing toxins. And remember, the detoxifying organ in the body is the liver. So these toxins are going to accumulate in the liver. They are going to elicit a chronic inflammatory response, cell damage, and possibly fatty change. And chronic illness, they're going to trigger chronic inflammatory response. The same mechanism continues. So let us go and look at the mechanism. So to embrace the mechanism of fatty change, we have to embrace the normal fat metabolism. So we are going to first look at the normal fat metabolism in the normal liver, and we see how it takes place. And from there, we are going to see the alteration that are going to lead to the fatty liver. So in the normal metabolism of fatty acids, so I'm going to have my liver parenchyma. So this is my cell, and it has a nucleus. This is the nucleus. So what is going to happen? I have two sources in the body of my fatty acids. These two sources, one of them is diet. So I'm going to get my free fatty acids from diet, and the second source is going to be adipose tissue. So in diet, I'm going to get acetate, I'm going to get free fatty acids, I'm going to get glycerol from diet. So when I bring here and from adipose tissue, I'm going to have free fatty acids. So these free fatty acids are going to enter into my liver parenchyma. So these are the free fatty acids. So when they are inside the liver parenchyma, the liver is going to synthesize more of these fatty acids. From where? From the acetate. Remember our acetate, which we got from the diet. So the liver is going to synthesize more of the free fatty acids from the acetate. And these free fatty acids we have here, some of them are going to be converted into cholesterol. Some of them are going to be converted into ketones, ketonic bodies. Some of them are going to be converted into phospholipids. And these ones are going to be reused by the body. What is going to happen to the remaining fat now? The remaining fat here is going to be esterified. So we're going to be having a esterification reaction to form triglycerides. The enzyme here is going to be alpha glycerophosphatase. So the excess triglycerides formed here are going to be combined with the lipid acceptor proteins. So when I have my lipid acceptor proteins, I combine them with the triglycerides. I'm going to form lipoproteins, and these are going to be excreted outside of the outside of the liver parenchyma cell as plasma lipoproteins. Plasma lipoproteins, and here we're going to have low density lipoproteins and very low density lipoproteins. So that one is during the normal fat metabolism. So what is going to happen in fatty liver? What is going to happen in fatty liver? One of them is going to be at this point. So this is going to be number one. We are going to have increased entry of free fatty acids inside the liver. The second one is going to be at this point, which is going to be increased synthesis of free fatty acids. The third one is going to come here. So this is the third one, which is going to be now decreased conversion. Decreased conversion of these free fatty acids to cholesterol, ketone bodies, and phospholipids. Then the fourth one is going to come here, which is going to be increased esterification. Increased esterification of these free fatty acids to triglycerides. So when we come here, this is going to be my fifth, which is going to be now decreased synthesis of lipoproteins. Remember, the lipoproteins are the ones which are responsible for removing these triglycerides, removing them from the liver parenchyma cells to the plasma, to blood saturation. Then another one is going to be here, which is going to be blockage in this lipoprotein excretion from the cell. So this is normal fat metabolism. This is going to happen in fatty liver. So when you alter the normal to these ones, we are going to be having accumulation of these triglycerides. So this is the center point. So we're going to be having accumulation of triglycerides in the liver parenchyma cells, possibly leading to fatty liver. Let us look at the morphologies. How is this liver now going to be looking like? How is it going to be appearing? Gross features and microscopically. So the morphology, the gross features, what are we going to see? The gross features, we are going to have, first of all, the liver, it's going to enlarge. So we are going to have hepatomegaly. So after the liver enlarging, we are going to see the color is going to turn into pale yellow to yellow. It's going to be having a glittering surface. It's going to having round corners, round boundaries. It's going to be greasy on touch. Then when we look at microscopic features under the microscope, microscopic features, one, we are going to have numerous lipid virtues, and these virtues are going to be non-staining in eosin and hematoxylin stain, and the reason is going to be due to dissolution of these lipids in the alcohol. Then in the initial stage of fatty liver, we are going to have microvesicular. This one means that we are going to have small virtues surrounding the nucleus, small lipid virtues surrounding the nucleus. In the later stage, we are going to have macrovascular. And this means that we are going to have these vacuoles enlarging in size and pushing the nucleus to the periphery of the cell. We are going to have lipogranuliomas. Lipogranuliomas, these are cells surrounding the lipid molecules. And some of these cells, we are going to have epithelial cells, giant cells, lymphocytes surrounding the lipid, forming a lipogranuloma. We are going to have fatty cysts. Then, in using Sudan dye, we are going to have a blue-black color, and using oil red dye. This one, when you have a mineral oils, it's going to remain in red. But if it is unsaturated fat, we are going to have a pink color. So those are basically the morphological features that we are going to see in fatty liver. Thank you very much for watching. We are going to have more videos on necrosis, apoptosis, cellular aging, autophagy, and we cover up the whole cellular injury and we look at something else. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.